So this is going to be a very raw, to the point, step-by-step video on how I was able to gain 40 pounds of lean muscle naturally while starting off with a very skinny physique that was kind of skinny fat. I tend to gain fat quite easily and struggle to lose it. And I just want to make this video very, very blunt, to the point, and the kind of stuff that I wish I was told 10 years ago, because if you're watching this, you're probably on YouTube trying to figure out, well, how do I fix the physique I've got? Maybe you're skinny fat, or maybe just overweight, or maybe just flat out skinny. Either way, the end goal is probably going to be along the lines of bigger, leaner, stronger, so that you can feel more confident, feel happier with what you see in the mirror, develop a mental resilience and confidence that you might not currently have. Or maybe, let's just be real, maybe you just want to look more attractive to get a better relationship and attract the right kind of person. Maybe it's to look more professional at your job and stand out in a positive manner. Maybe it's to impress friends and family. Maybe it's a mixture of the lot. Maybe you just want abs on the beach. Either way, we're all here for the same sort of reason, right? And I wanted to make this video because when I first started getting into this kind of training, and just to give you a quick rundown, I'm 32 right now. Embarrassingly, going to be 33 this year. But I say embarrassingly, it's a blessing, isn't it, getting older, if you're lucky. But I started this when I was 14. And when I was 14, I was very, very shy, very insecure, full of self-doubt, extremely, extremely negative outlook on life. And I used to do kickboxing. And that got me into like exercising and being active and just, you know, getting that sort of natural high you get when you do a workout or any sort of exercise. You just feel good for it. And that started to make me think, do you know what? If I put my mind to something, I can do it. And I thought, I'm skinny. My chest is like a xylophone, you know, like that. It's just like horrible. Long noodly arms. Just look like crap. But this is the downside. I didn't have any definition in my arms. I had a little bit of lower back fat. You know, a bit of a double chin. And although I didn't have any muscle on my chest, I did have a bit of side fat. And I just thought, this is not good. I didn't feel good about it. I felt very self-conscious. If I took my shirt off, I felt very insecure. Any relationship I got in, I didn't really like them seeing my shirt off. And best believe if we go on holiday, I'm going to wear something, right? I don't really want to take my top off. So I thought to myself, well, let's try and gain some muscle. I think bodybuilding's cool. You know, at my time, I was looking up at people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you know, you watch superhero movies, Thor's jacked. Why wouldn't any man want to look like that, right? You're going to feel great. Your physique commands presence and respect. And that's what I loved about it. And I thought, wow, let's get in the gym. Let's do some weights. Now, I was actually a bit too young to get in the gym. So I basically started off with a home Argos kit. You know, all the basic dumbbells that are crap and they have the screw-on ends. And I started lifting weights. Just cut to the point. I started lifting weights, you know, pull, push, legs kind of deal, if I did legs. And I thought, right, this would be cool. And you get that kind of pump, right? You train, you work out, you get a pump, and you think, this is going great. I look great. You look under the lighting, look. A few months go by, and just look the same. And you're like, well, I'm getting these pumps, but I'm still just looking at the same at the end of it. And you think, well, maybe my food's a bit crap. So me thinking, right, well, I better eat the chicken and broccoli and rice. I better have, you know, brown bread, brown rice, avoid carbs, sometimes sweet potato if I'm lucky. I just did all the basic stuff, right? And believe it or not, people are still telling you to do that now. I actually had a conversation with someone the other day, and they were on a call. They had a consultation with a personal trainer, and they were like, yeah, for nutrition, you want to have chicken, broccoli, and rice. And they weren't joking. They actually were going to get him to have that. I was like, this guy wants to get bigger and stronger, and you tell him to have, you know, chicken, broccoli, and rice. There's not many calories in that. Like, you'd have to have that 10 times in one day to even hit a rough amount of calories based on his training. Anyway, that's a side note. That's kind of leading me on to where I went wrong. The mistakes I made was I was training frequently, yes, and I was somewhat enjoying it, and I was young, so I had the time to do it. But I wasn't gaining any weight, and I wasn't getting any leaner, and I wasn't really seeing any difference apart from the pump I was getting from the workout, right? Which makes you feel like you're making progress, but then you wake up the next day and realize nothing's really going on. And this went on for several years, right? From 14 probably up to about 18. And when I was 18, I thought, I can join a gym. Let me get to a gym. So I went to a gym called The Gym. And it's not the gym you're thinking of in the UK. This was before they started, actually. It was called The Gym. And it was a cool gym, cool place, very old school. Joined it, great, cool. Went there, used the machines, great, amazing, got a pump, cool. Same deal. I wasn't seeing progress, wasn't seeing anything. So I'm going around at anytime I saw someone that was jacked or big, I was like, hey, mate, like, what should I be eating? What should I be doing? And everyone, they either told me the exact same shit or random stuff. So 9 times out of 10, they go, oh, yes, bro, you need to eat lots of brown rice, loads of boiled chicken, bro. It's got to be boiled. That oil, you can't have oil. No fat at all. And make sure you have that every meal. So, okay, right, cool. So I followed it. got nowhere, hated my life, barely could eat anything, right? And I actually started losing weight because there was so little calories in this meal and I could barely eat it. Wasn't getting anywhere. So I started buying all the magazines and going on YouTube, right? YouTube did exist back then, trust me, bruv. 2006 YouTube started, so I'm watching all these YouTube channels and none of them are saying you need to eat more calories. They're all saying eat chicken, broccoli and rice. It was a bit of a meme, right? And then there's the fish and the rice cake scenario. And without making this video so long and boring it on talking about the food stuff at the beginning, the bottom line was I was not hitting the calories I needed to hit. I was training great and I wasn't hitting the calories. And I was like, right. It took me genuinely from the age of 14 to about 21 to realize, I'm going to track my calories and see how much I need to be eating. It turns out around that time, I needed around 4,000 calories, which is a lot, by the way. Most people don't need that. I actually don't even need that now. But because of my active lifestyle and I was training so frequently and I was doing kickboxing on the side, I needed 4,000 calories plus to even see a pound or half a pound per week. So when I realized that, I was like, okay, all these guys are giving me the chicken and broccoli and rice treatment, but no one was telling me that I need to get my calories right. So what I did from that point was I started tracking my calories and I realized I was way off all the time and I really struggled. And if I didn't track, I didn't realize I needed to eat again, right? I'd eat, I'd have a big bowl of porridge. I'd have all the egg whites. I'd have gainer shakes that I would, before I used to use the powders, like the pre-made ones, which are horrible. I started making them myself, right? Blending up oats with almond milk and chucking in bananas and protein scoops, which I still do now. It does work really well. Bottom line was I was just throwing all these meals together thinking, damn, I'm stuffed, I'm bloated. I must be able to gain some muscle now, right? Add up the calories, 2,800. Still got to get more calories in, right? So I really struggled to get the calories in. So I started doing the whole dirty bulking thing, right? 4,000 calories, I'd have like pizza, biscuits on top of the good stuff. I didn't just go crazy. And the good thing is, fast forward, right? 9 months of doing that. So at this point, I'm probably about, 22, coming up to 23. After I figured this out and started implementing it properly. And I was able to go from 120 pounds, which was the body weight I started at, which, well, I say started at, that was 6 years in, right? I'll put some photos up here. Here's me. I'm 18 in this photo, right? I've been training from 14, so that is 4 years of training. And I posted this on TikTok a while back and be like, no, you didn't, bro, that's not right. I'm like, I must have forgot my own life then, eh? Legit, I was training for 4 years. And as you can see, I've got noodle arms. And I'm embarrassed to admit, but at that time I thought I was getting somewhere. I remember putting on those t-shirts, and even though it hung off my sleeves, I thought, yeah, I'm looking a bit more muscular. And it didn't help that all my mates going, yeah, you're looking bigger, mate. And I look like that. It's hilarious. And I actually don't think I've even got any photos, apart from me being at school, where you can see my arms before that. But that, believe it or not, that was progress, right? That's how skinny I started off with, right? But as you can see, there's also no definition. It's terrible. Anyway, so I gained 40 pounds. I'll show you what it looked like. This is 9 months in. And it's significant. My shoulders started to pop. My arms looked a bit thicker and fuller. My chest did not grow. It just did not grow. Genetically speaking, it's terrible. Back grew a little bit, legs tiny bit. But the main thing was the arms and traps and shoulders. And at this point, I was getting a lot of compliments from people in my local gym. People saw me suddenly just trained. Some people said, oh, are you taking steroids, mate? And I was proud to say no. Even though today's standards, you'd be like, mid, that looks like shit. And I quite agree, to be honest with you. So I gained 40 pounds. And you'd be looking at that and go, that's not 40 pounds. No one gains 40 pounds lean naturally. What are you talking about? You're capping, bro. Dislike. And that's fine. I'd be pessimistic and optimistic. I'd be questionable about anything you see on the internet because everyone's full of rubbish. That's why I'm making these videos blunt and unedited and raw like this, because this is what I needed. And I just want to... I feel like the struggles I went through, if I can put them on YouTube and someone can watch that video and go, damn, that saved me a year of faffing about, my job's done. So that's what this is for. So I've gained 40 pounds. Now, let me be real with you. This is another thing that people don't talk about. People say, oh, I've lost 10 pounds, I've gained 10 pounds. And everyone goes, wow, great. It's not 10 pounds of fat, is it? And it's not 10 pounds of muscle either. Most scale weight is going to be based on water weight, which everyone knows about, right? But it's normally coming from carbs. You eat carbs, your body breaks it down into glucose, then your body holds it in the form of glycogen, and obviously that can hold water as well. So if you can do an experiment right now, have 200 grams of carbs today and then weigh yourself tomorrow. And then on that tomorrow, have 100 grams of carbs and weigh yourself the next day. It will drop massively just because of the difference in carbohydrates and water weight, mainly from glycogen, right? So what that means is that 40 pounds, yes, crap ton of it was muscle. You can see it in the photo. I remember experiencing it and it was great. And I was training incredibly well and I was hitting my macros. That was me tracking and hitting my calories and macros and adjusting it for 9 months straight. Like training 5-6 days a week. I loved it. And it was obviously the newbie gains. Everyone gets their newbie gains, right? That's 40 pounds. So some of that's going to be carbs, glycogen. Some of it will be fat. It's a bulk at the end of the day. Some of it's going to be like salt. I'm not saying it's 40 pounds of pure muscle just yet. But I gained 40 pounds and I was still relatively lean and I was really happy with my physique. And I carried on with that bulk. Like I said, it was a bit of a dirty bulk, and then I started to gain fat quite rapidly, and then the muscle I was gaining kind of dropped. And if anything, if I'm honest with you, I'm pretty sure I lost muscle somehow. Maybe I just wasn't eating enough good quality protein. I just started getting fatter and losing muscle. So I thought to myself, right, what do you do at this point, right? You're probably thinking, do a cut. I did a cut. Went on a cut, and this is again, and I'm telling you this, I'm walking you through my journey and my transformation because I made mistakes and I want to try and save you that mistake, right? The first mistake I did was, right, time to cut. What are my calories? Okay, maintenance is about 2,200. Let me drop it 1,600. Bang! So I went from 4,000 calories plus, to be honest, probably about 4,300-ish at the time because I had to increase it near the end and I was getting a bit fat. And I dropped the calories right down. I yeeted that shit right down. First week, this is easy, right? Because you've got residual glycogen calories. So when people go on starvation diets, they always think it's easy at the start because at the start it is. When they start to run on empty and the energy stores deplete, that's when they're like, oh, this is crap. And that's why people binge and cannot. That's why fad diets and starvation diets don't work. They don't last and you get ill. It's not worth it. Anyone that does keto and carnivore and their calories and carbs are drastically low, they don't last very long. You know, there's always an exception to the rule, but I'm talking for most people. So anyway, I did this cut and I looked like shit. My thickness and fullness of my muscles dropped, obviously from glycogen, but at the time I thought it was just pure muscle loss. But the body fat was still there. It takes a while to shift, right? Body fat takes a while to come off the body, but the thickness and fullness you can lose like that because of your diet and, you know, carb intake. So I got weaker, smaller, and looked like crap, and I really hated it. And mentally, because your brain's main function is from glucose, your brain functions on glucose primarily. So I just got, you know, forgetful, tired, agitated. And this is normal. Any cut's going to do that to you. I'm not going to say, oh, there's a magic way around it. But the bottom line is it went terrible. And I basically got like 4 months into it. I did get a bit leaner and I hated it. So I went back on a bulk, which was a big mistake. That's another mistake, right? I jumped between cuts and bulks before finishing them. So I went back on a bulk and I basically half-assed the calories because I thought I knew what I was doing. My training was the same, so there was no progressive overload. I wasn't paying attention to like mesocycles and periodization with my training. So I got fatter, and then I got into a relationship and I got lazy. Still trained, but I was like, you know, McDonald's, KFC, protein shakes, C4 pre-workout though. Yeah, sick, man. Creatine, woo. And yeah, I just got fat. And I carried on with that, and then that relationship ended, so I carried on the bulk. And then I worked in a job where I went to a changing room and I moved the curtains and I saw myself from the side. I was like, holy crap, like I got 3 chins, side boobs growing, and I've got, for the first time in my life, a proper belly. And I thought, you know, 2 things went through my mind. Oh, just getting older though, just getting older. That's part of life, getting older, right? Because everyone I know that was the same age as me at the time was getting fat, right? Because that's what happens. You get comfortable, you get lazy, you get busy with work, so you just don't have time for fitness, right? So I got a bit of fat, and as soon as I acknowledged, like, holy crap, because a lot of people don't realize they're getting fat, right? Maybe you've experienced this where you sort of, you know, you're not looking the best. Someone takes a photo, you see it and you go, crikey me, look at that. Like, I've had clients come to me literally saying, oh mate, I knew I was a bit outweight and someone showed me a photo, I thought, fuck this. And that's what they work with me, right? I've been through those scenarios myself, and I didn't for a while. Now I've experienced it. I'm like, holy crap, this is what people are going through. This is horrible. So I got on a cut and I did it perfectly, right? I dropped my calories down gradually, worked it down to maintenance, and then gradually dropped my calories down whilst increasing my strength in the gym. So what that means is, because I had gradually adjusted it, my body was able to adapt and become more accustomed to it. So my energy levels and conditioning got better. And then because I got stronger in the gym, I was also able to retain more muscle instead of going catabolic. You got to think about it logically. If you're eating less food and you're lifting less weight, then the adaptation is your body doesn't need to keep the muscles as big as they are. You know, again, it's always an exception to the rule. Some people are genetic gifts. I've had friends where they could just do push-ups at home and their chest will grow. I do that now, it will shrink, right? We're all different. But if you're on YouTube learning that, you've probably had some frustration with your fitness journey already. You know, people that are genetically gifted. And this is why you see a lot of coaches out there. And this isn't to moan, because I'm not trying to have a go at other coaches at all, because there's a lot of good ones. I know a lot of good ones, and most people are doing it because they give a shit, right? So I'm not trying to slag off coaches. What I'm saying is you've got to be wary, because some people are genetically gifted. So they're good to... In fact, I have a friend, right? I won't drop names, but went to the gym, trained really hard. Got to give him credit. Trained really hard, but his food was just like whatever he wanted, whatever. And he just grew, and he was lean, and he looked massive. And then he became a trainer because he looked the part. And he was a trainer for what, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. Never got a transformation out of anyone. And he's a good dude. So he was actually like upset about it. He's like, well, he came to me, he was like, well, why am I not getting like transformations? Like, what's going on? I was like, well, what are you doing for their programming, their nutrition? He's like, oh, I'm just getting them through the workouts I do and tell them to eat, you know, this and this. And I'm like, okay. that worked for you, mate. It's not going to work for them. So he's got great genetics and he trains really hard. These guys aren't training as hard as him and they don't have the same genetics. So they need to be more specific. They need to have a program and they need to have specific diets. So his clients didn't get any results. And that's what happens. You get a lot of people that go to the gym, train, a bit cluelessly, but it works because they've got great genetics, and then they're going to pass that advice to someone else. So it's the blind leading the blind. And that's why so many people, don't get results, to be honest with you. Like if you Google the statistics, how many people actually get in shape, it's abysmal. And that's why there's so many trainers out there, because everyone's trying to help. It's a big industry, right? But that's a bit of a side tangent. Anyway, I went on this diet. I managed to get very lean and I was ecstatic because once I got lean, I realized, okay, I have gained a lot of muscle in that proper, years of trying to figure out gaining muscle and gaining size. I felt small, I felt flat, but that's because of the carbs and glycogen being in deficit. But I got lean, I felt more attractive, my face looked more attractive, better than it does now. I had abs coming through, and as soon as I was able to go like any holiday at the time, it was just great. Like the sun was great, I liked wearing vests, tank tops, whatever you want to call them. And I was like, the confidence was high, right? And that was probably the best I ever felt. And I was like, holy crap, I've learned so much. But then from this point, I realized, well, okay, I've done like the dirty bulk and I've done the drop the calories down diet, and both those things didn't work out very well. And I gradually dropped my calories down to this cut. How do I now go up to build my chest and try and lift more size and take it to the next level, right? So I thought, let me do the same. Let me gradually build up the calories and not go into a massive surplus. Instead of going to 1,000 calorie, 2,000 calorie surplus, let's go for like a 500 calorie surplus. So I built up my calories, slight surplus. And by doing so, I was able to continuously gain muscle and keep it very, 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 very lean throughout the year, which meant I could bulk for like 9 months to a year straight and still somewhat have abs at the end of it. So I could still take my shirt off and go on the beach, still be in photos, not worry about it, not basically get fat, get skinny, get fat, get skinny like most men do, which I call the bro cycle. And I've done it. I'm talking from experience, hence this video. So my point being is, what I've learned is that transitioning correctly between cuts and bulks and trying to finish them instead of jumping between like, oh, I feel skinny, let me get on a bulk. Oh, I feel fat, let me get on a cut. Generally, most people come to me or watch my videos, or the clients I've worked with, and I've worked with well over 100 men. I'm just going to pop up a few transformations on the screen. And I do this every video, but it's purely just to show that I'm not just some pleb trying to chat rubbish. I may just be sat here on a camera. It looks like some grandma's painting. And I don't live with my nan. This is my own flat. But, my girlfriend's nan made this and it's just there. So why not? So I'm just trying to give a bit of credibility to what I'm saying, because the fitness industry, it's just full of lies. Like I had a call with someone the other day, and they're quite clued up, quite intelligent, switched on. And they said, look, there's so much information that's conflicting in the fitness industry. This guy says that guy says this. It's hard to know who to trust, who to believe. And although there's truth to every statement, fasting works because you're creating a deficit, but fasting is also crap because you're starving yourself and you could go catabolic within those timeframes. Both arguments are right. So what do you do, right? So it's important to normally learn from one method and implement it to you. Or if you're skinny fat, chances are if you're watching this video, you are, where you've got less muscle and more body fat than you want, then the solution's normally a bit more specific. If you were tiny and skinny, you just go straight up bulk, and it doesn't matter if it's a dirty bulk because you probably need it, right? If you're massively obese, and I don't mean that in a rude way, you just need to create some form of deficit, add a bit of cardio, and you'll start to see some progress at least at that point. If you're skinny fat, if you want to cut, you're going to get skinnier. So you're making the problem worse before it gets better. If you're skinny fat and you're going to bulk, you're going to get fatter and not look as good. So you got to get worse before it gets better. So skinny fat's a bit more niche, it's a bit more specific. Most things in the fitness industry need to be specific but simple. And the people I work with are skinny fat. So what I've learned is a longer bulk with a smaller calorie surplus that's gradual and you adjust it as you go along enables you to gain throughout the year for a longer time and stay in a deficit, stay in a surplus for a lot longer, which is healthier than sitting in a deficit the whole time. And you're going to get more optimization in terms of recovery, performance, overload, which is going to stimulate more muscle growth in the long run. And I learned that from all those mistakes. It took me from the age of 14 to probably about 23, 25 when I really it locked in. I was like, holy crap, this is what I should be doing. And then when I started working with clients one-to-one, I used to work in a gym, got my level 2, level 3 and all that jazz. And I took it online because it's a little bit more specific. I was able to get everyone I work with an amazing result. To the point now, if you work with me now, I do offer a money back guarantee because I'm so confident if you follow these steps, you're going to get the results, because it's based off of decades now, experience and firsthand. And it's based on science. It's not overly technical. There's always a scientific study that says that's right, that's wrong. But, if I've done it for well over 100 people and it's worked every single time, you just start to know that it's confident. So I'm very confident in that ability. And that's why I'm making this video, is to explain to you what I've done to get these results. Now, yeah, I could be more specific about my training. You know, most things are compound free weight movements backed up with accessory movements. I'll track everything on an app or in my notes, and then I will try and outdo what I did last time, be it reps, be it tempo, be it frequency and volume, be it strength. And I'll try and pick one of those metrics and maximize it as much as I can, and then update it. And then when it stops working, because everything stops working eventually, you will hit a wall and you will hit a plateau. And that's why so many dudes, it's always the guys that have just started it, the most confident, right? They do 3 months in the gym, see great gains because the newbie gains and it's awesome. And they're like, yeah, bro, I know what I'm doing. Oh, look at this mid physique. Da, 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 da. And then they do it for like another year and then they realize nothing's changed, and then they've gone backwards, and then they start going, shit, what am I doing wrong? Or they jump on gear, which is just stupid because then they end up looking like disproportionate because they haven't got the things right. So anyway, without blabbering in this video, this is the transformation I managed to do. It's still a work in progress. I'm currently lean bulking, which I have been doing for months now. I'm going to be lean bulking for another 2 months, maybe February, March time. I'll probably start thinking about going to maintenance calories in April, and then April onwards, I'll slowly work into a deficit. So as summer arrives, I'm getting lean and jacked and shredded, and I won't cut for long. The good thing is, once you get lean once you get shredded first, and you bulk gently on the way up, like a lean bulk, your default physique is quite lean. And then whenever you do finish your bulk and you want to dial it back and get leaner, it's only you need like 12 weeks, 8 weeks, 16 weeks on the top end to get right back to where you were shredded wise, whilst keeping that muscle. And then guess what? You can get back on a bulk and keep it lean throughout the year and grow. I think people call this main gaining. I think that's what they call it now, which is good. I'm glad to see this is becoming a thing, because if someone taught me this at the beginning, I would have saved damn well about 6 years of faff. And you know, I say this all this information right now, and it seems really obvious, right? I feel like I'm just saying like, oh, water is wet, air is breathable. Like, it feels silly. But then when I do these calls with people, they're asking for some help. The misinformation they've been told is diabolical. I literally could not believe this was in 2025, this year. This chap was telling me that this guy in the gym was telling me he needs to eat chicken, broccoli, and rice. I was like, is it a joke? It's like a meme, isn't it? Everyone, you watch this now, no, that's not how it's going to work, right? So yeah, I hope this video sort of offered a bit of food for thought, no calorie puns intended there, and just give you a bit of insight on what I've done personally for my physique and what I did. And the bottom line is I tracked my calories to make sure it was right, and I tracked my workouts and adjusted it by looking at my weigh-ins and my photos, and it's that simple. Yes, genetically people are different. I've had weak points, but the tracking allows you to be specific for your body, and if you're specific for your body, it's guaranteed. If you're just guessing and you're just doing loads of cardio and eating salads, you'll lose weight, but it won't last long, and you'll put it back on and you'll lose muscle. So if you're watching this and you're skinny fat, I hope what I've walked you through here helps. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. You can follow me on Instagram at Elite Transformation Project. I'm very active in my DMs there because I like helping people. Just drop me a message there if you've got any questions. And if you've watched it this far, my full-time spiel is one-to-one coaching. I basically take you through everything I've gone through. I will work with you with your diet, your numbers. I'll make sure it's flexible. It can fit your schedule. I got clients that do like 12-hour days. I got one client who does a 6-hour commute each day around his work, which is crazy, and he still can find time to do the little bits he needs to do. You don't have to be, have loads of time on your hands. You could be super, super busy. I can make it work for anyone as long as they're willing to put in the work and track the bits that I want them to track. If that sounds something like you'd want some help with, if you want proper one-to-one guidance that's no BS, no fluff, straight to the point, and it is genuinely me one-to-one, it's not a group, it's not some silly stuff, because a lot of these guys see on YouTube say, I'm going to coach you, and then you pay them $7,000 and they chuck you in a group of people pretending to be coaches, and it's just ridiculous. It's honestly mind-boggling. But hey, they're successful. What do I know, right? So yeah, if you want some of that, I do have a book a call link in the bio. I normally recommend people message me on Instagram so I can get to know you and see if I can actually help you out. Or we can jump on a quick 10-15 minute call and just go, hey, what are you struggling with? Can I help you fix it? If you don't want any of that, cool. I have some free stuff in the bio. I have a nutritional blueprint. Purely because that is going to help you work out your calories the exact way I work it out for myself and my clients. There's nothing magical about it. It's just, here's the equation, here's how you adjust it, here's what I recommend, because that will quite literally get you 80% of the way there if you get it right. So I hope this video is helpful. That's what this channel is about. I'm just trying to empty all the things I've learned over the years and plonk it into YouTube format so you can watch it and go, damn, that's what I needed. Thank you. That's what this is for. If you find the video helpful, hit like and subscribe. Yeah, if you've got negative stuff to say, drop it in the comments. I don't mind. Fitness industry is terrible, isn't it? You could look like Thor and everyone be like, mid. Oh, no, if you're not on steroids, you're small. And if you get on steroids, you're a gearhead. You can't win. But Who cares? Anyway, this is YouTube, isn't it? It's the internet, whatever. Have a great day. Have a great year. And if there's anything I can help you with, don't hesitate to drop a comment or a message. Have a great one.